Hi everyone, Dr. Victoria Skirbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. And I want to talk about William Barr. I'm going to do a reading on him. He is in somewhat of a pickle in that he had Jeffrey Epstein in his jail, and Jeffrey Epstein is now dead. And as to what killed him, we're not quite sure. People have their theories, and I think the most human theory is that he saw the, from the perspective of the human being, is that he saw his future to be very bleak, and he decided to take his own life. And I think when I did the cards, that's what came up, but it was also with the idea that he was allowed to. So he was either helped, I don't know if he was helped like physically, somebody actually helped him along, or he was just given the space and the time to do it. Or he might have also just been like that scene, was it in The Godfather or The Godfather 2, where they convinced the guy that the best thing he can do is kill himself, because if he lives, what he has to look forward to is not all that pleasant. So that's very interesting. So we're going to see what's up with Barr. I just kind of want to see where he's at and what's ahead for him, and how these cards sort of paint a picture. I don't necessarily have a specific question yet. So let's see what is up with William Barr. What's ahead for him? What's ahead for William Barr? I'm almost done. So I did that reading on Russia outside, which was it was kind of lovely, but so hot and a little buggy. It was a little like a wasp, like flying around the whole time. Kind of like Putin, I guess. Sting you when you least expect it. Of course, I didn't get stung, and I don't think we will either. I think his days are numbered. But let's see Barr. Okay. So his immediate environment is the Two of Wands. Okay, so this says to me that he's working with somebody else, or he was working with somebody else. He's not working alone here. He's working in concert with somebody to get something done. And we have the crossing card as the Queen of Coins. And I do feel like there is somebody in the shadows, and we can see that this woman is literally in the shadows. And I feel like Barr is very much connected to like Wall Street money. And I think it's interesting that his father gave Jeffrey Epstein his first job as a teacher, and that's where he started to make all his connections with Wall Street. And then Barr's father resigned or was kicked out, I'm not sure which, mysteriously, after he did that, a year or so after he hired Epstein. But the other thing is that this woman actually looks a lot like Letitia James. Letitia James, the AE, Attorney General, AG, sorry about that, Attorney General for the state of New York. Now, I don't know anything about the legality of this, if the state of New York has anything to do with it, because it's not a New York jail. But it's very interesting. This woman looks just like her. And so so I don't know what that means, but that's who I saw when I pulled that card. Besides the money people who are saying, you got to fix this, you got to take care of this issue. Billy boy. Sorry. All right. At the root is the Hierophant, which is this card. The Hierophant card in this deck is extraordinarily interesting because there's a box here, and this person is taking the lid off of something. And so it's a little bit different than most Hierophants. A lot of the Hierophant cards are much less dynamic. It's more about the body of what you're talking about, or the way something is constructed, and that's the way it is. Like oftentimes the emperor, the Hierophant is like the Constitution of the United States. Like it's the Constitution. It's what constitutes the governing principles of the country. And so this is about sort of taking the lid off the governing principles. It's like either going beyond the governing principles of something, or opening Pandora's box. But there's some sort of uncovering that's happening right now at the root of it. So let's see what else is. That could also be the investigation that needs to be done around the Epstein death, right? Okay, so let's see what's in the past. We have the Illumination card, the sun. So the sun has shown this could be the illumination of the whole Epstein, sweetheart deal down in Florida, and all of that sort of coming to light, putting us all on a new path. The sun card is a 1 vibration, so it's about a new path, and it deals with children. So that very well could be. Let's see what's in the sky. Okay, we have the Page of Cups, and again, we have this young boy looking into a cup, but it's on top of a square, interestingly enough. And squares are crisis, but there's a youth here, a young child. Could be a young female child. Okay, let's see what's in the immediate future. Okay, we have justice. So it looks as though justice will be served. There's going to be some balancing of the scales. It's very interesting. How it's seen from the outside. Yes, the 5 of Swords. This is an energy of somebody who uses cruel intentions and cruel actions, and possibly illegal actions, and they have swords on their feet, they have swords in their hand. It's a very kind of unstable energy. It's a 5. 5 is about change, and no matter which way you put it, this guy falls off these swords. He could either get hurt. He's going to get hurt one way or the other. The question is, how badly is he going to get hurt? And so I think a lot of people see this as this whole debacle as something that could bring Barr down. His domestic situation, we have the Strength card, and so, excuse me, sorry, I dropped the other coin. So he's holding strong. He's getting support from his family. He's getting support from his family. All right, let's see the hopes and fears. We have the 9 of Coins. This is the labyrinth of money. The fear that we'll get to the core of the issue around money, about the truth about the rich, and how they, this is how they utilize their money to buy politicians, buy AGs, buy presidents, buy whatever, right? The outcome. We have the Six of Coins. Six of Coins is a card that is about paying back what is owed, balancing the scales when it comes to money. It's actually a very positive card. It's about giving to the poor. It's about a fairer distribution of resources. Okay. All right. I'm pulling to see if we can get a major arcana. So we have the Seven of Wands. So that's somebody fighting off all comers. And we have the High Priestess, which is secrets. Let's see what's underneath. The Lovers. The Choice card. Also the card of Gemini, which he is a Gemini. A lot of Geminis in power right now. Gemini is the archetype that is associated with duality. Black and white, right and wrong. Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, was the patron saint of thieves. It's also about gathering information, contrast, learning through contrast and comparison. So what these cards are saying to me is that things are going to be revealed. It seems less about Barr as in the complete, like the whole picture of Barr. He's in here. He's certainly in here. But this feels more like the whole Epstein situation is going to blow the lid off the way the body of power, the way those in power keep the power and keep the money. And it looks like there will be justice around that, and kind of from the mouths of babes, as it says in the Bible. I think he is going to be revealed as a player in this game, and I think ultimately it will come to light. The secrets will come to light, and it interestingly enough has a lot to do with women here. Perhaps it's Letitia James, perhaps it's the women's movement, perhaps it's the young girls whom Jeffrey Epstein trafficked, the young girls who Jeffrey Epstein trafficked, and we find out what powerful people are going to be uncovered in this situation. So this is a little bit less about Barr, but what it says is that he is he's sort of a minion for this whole system, which kind of makes sense, because anybody who's at the top of the game in this system is going to a certain extent, be a minion. How much of a minion? I think that the more that they get away with, when you ask yourself, how could this be happening? Why is this happening like this? How can they get away with it? When you ask that question, they get away with it because they are sustaining the system that they want to sustain. The system itself sort of strengthens their hand, so to speak, even if their hand is not fair, even if their hand is against what we think we stand for. So I think that he is going to be held responsible, and I think on a certain level he's going to get hurt from it. But I think it's part of the rebalancing of the scales. It's part of the falling away and the falling down of this very sick and depraved system of power and money. And so and knowing that, it's a choice for people to participate in this. It's a choice. It was Barr's choice to participate in this. On a certain level, I think he was born into it. Just like I think Kavanaugh was born into it. And not this situation here, but the system. And the guy, Gorsuch, right? I think his mother was a judge or something. So it's like these people are bred to keep this system sustained. And so when you get somebody who's sort of not bred for it, like a Barack Obama or a Bernie Sanders or a Liz Warren, they're not really bred for this kind of thing. You're not talking about the elite here. You're talking about regular people who made it up the sort of the ladder and were able to sort of hook into the feeling of like the regular folk. The regular folk do make it. They do make it up, and then they have to deal with what they can do and what they can't do within a system that's completely rigged. So that's why I think politicians like the Bushes and the Cheneys get away with so much, because they're bred into the system, and so it's very very interesting, and I think that this whole thing is being the box, the lid is being taken off of it, and so we can see it. So that's what I see. I know this was supposed to be about Barr, but it's more about the uncovering of the system that allows people like Barr and Bush and Cheney and to a certain extent Trump to exist. Although I'm not sure Trump is particularly part of that system. I think they saw him as a way to a means to an end. Now, he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, but it wasn't. He's sort of a wild card. Trump is definitely a wild card, and when you're dealing with wildness like that in a system that's really pretty tightly regulated, I'm talking about these people bred into this power structure. It makes for an interesting stew and possibly the total breakdown of the system itself, because on a certain level, Trump is the wild card in all of this. He is the catalyst for change, and unfortunately, we would like to think people who think like I do, or people who are more concerned with other people and spreading the happiness and the goodness instead of holding it all for yourself. We would like the change to be a lot more pleasant, but that's not how it works, I guess. And so here we are in the middle of it, but it really is kind of it's the continuing end of the old way. South Node in Capricorn. I say it almost every time. And Pluto in Capricorn. And we're going to have our Pluto return, which I need to talk about with you guys astrologically. I'm trying to get my stuff. I'm trying to get it together. It's a lot of work, but I will do it because I think we need to know it. All right, that's that. Have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Like and subscribe. I'll see you again soon. This will probably be my last reading today, but who knows? I have the AC on now, so maybe I can go a little bit longer. Have yourself a great day. Bye.